Which gate to enter when going to visit Etosha National Park? There are 4 gates into the whole of Etosha National Park. 2 are very well known, 2 are rarely used. So which gate will be best for you when entering Etosha? Now that will depend on 2 factors. First, where you're coming from, and secondly, where you're staying inside the park. Now you must remember that Etosha is a national park and it closes at sunset. So you can only drive in the park between sunrise, which on average is about 6:30 in the morning, to sunset, which is 6:30 at night. Now that time does vary a little bit, so please check, but that's to give you a guide. And you can only drive in the park during those times. So at sunset, when the park gates are closed, the camp gates are closed as well, you must be either inside one of the camps or outside the park. So it does mean that when you enter the gate, they will work out that you've got enough time to drive from the entrance gate to your accommodation. If you're not there early enough, they won't let you in the gate. So please check carefully on that. Gate number 1. Let's start at Galton Gate, right over on the western side of Etosha National Park, and is probably the quietest entrance gate in the whole of the park. Now, it's good for accessing from the Damaraland and Swakopmund side, and is excellent if you're staying at Dolomite Resort or Oliphant's Rust, because they're closest, they're within about an hour of the gate. You can still access Okokwayo from Galton Gate, which means you would have to cross a big section of the park. So you have to be inside the gate by 11 a.m. for them to let you in if you have a reservation at Okokwayo going that route, because that's how long it will take you to drive across before the camp closes. Going around the park towards Okokwayo brings us to gate number 2. Now this is Anderson Gate, which has recently been named Ombika Gate, and this is the busiest gate going into Etosha National Park because you can access it from a lot of places. So if you're coming from Damaraland or Swakopmund or Otjiwarongo or Windhoek, you can access this gate very easily. So you can come from all those directions. Also, just past the gate, it's only 17 kilometers to Okokwayo from the gate, Okokwayo being the busiest and most well-known camp of all the camps in Etosha. So it is the busiest gate. There is also a lot of accommodation along the road leading up to Ombika Gate. So particularly first thing in the morning, there can be queues at this gate to get into Etosha. But it's the ideal gate if you're staying at Okokwayo or Halali Resort. Moving over to the east is the 3rd gate, which is Namatoni Gate. Now this is a good access gate, the closest gate if you're coming through from the Caprivi and Rundu on the eastern side of Namibia and coming round that side, and Sumeb. But is also accessible from Otavi, Otjiwarongo and Windhoek. So at Otjiwarongo the road splits and you take the right-hand road that then comes through to the Namatoni Gate. Namatoni Gate is ideal for entering if you're staying at Namatoni Resort. It's only about 11 kilometers from the gate to the resort, and is also one of the closest gates to get to Onkoshi, but it's still 2 or 3 hours to Onkoshi from the gate. And of course, it's 80 kilometers from the gate through to Halali, so again, 2 to 3 hours getting through to Halali. The 4th and final gate into access Etosha is King Naheli Gate. Now this is the newest gate into Etosha National Park, and it really only makes sense to come in this gate if you're coming from Ovamboland in the north, because it's situated up here and you drop down into Etosha. It's the closest gate for visiting Onkoshi, and you can then do a couple of hours beyond Onkoshi, you can get through to Namatoni Gate. So you can access it from going round past the Namatoni from Otavi side. So if you're coming Otjiwarongo, Otavi, but you've almost driven past the Namatoni Gate. So unless you're going to Onkoshi, it doesn't make sense to drive round from the south. It only makes sense to use this gate if you're coming in from Vamboland side. A quick summary of the 4 gates. Galton Gate, good for entering if you're staying Dolomite Resort or Oliphant's Rust camping site. Ombika Anderson Gate if you're going to Okokwayo or Halali, and then Namatoni Gate if you're going to Namatoni Resort or Onkoshi, and King Naheli Gate if you're going to Onkoshi and you're coming in from the north. So, quick summary of the gates into Etosha. I hope that helps you. If not, drop me a message if you have any questions and we'll sort you out.